And so it has ended here. Ukraine 1, Spain 0. Not the result we wanted. A really, really sad day at the office. A really poor performance from Spain. Ukraine get their win in extraordinary circumstances, and well, it's a disappointing night. It really is. It's not what we wanted. I came into this international break picking up the idea that we needed to win these next two games. We'd beaten Switzerland. It wasn't very convincing, but we got the job done, and it's hard playing these fixtures. And we just needed to beat Ukraine here. We haven't done it. We've lost. We've put ourselves in a tricky position in the group. And it was poor tonight from Spain. It wasn't just the result. It was worrying. You do worry for the depth in this squad. You worry for the ideas. You worry for the potential and ability to go on and do things. It's not like this is the first time we've seen this from Spain. Over the last 4-6 years, really, we've seen performances very similar to this. And we went back to that today. We really did. And it reminded me of the games against Norway, the games against Sweden, and many others in the past, in all truth, but those are the ones in recent memory. But honestly, the Nations League, we were in a good position in it. We still are, technically, because of Germany's draw to Switzerland, which is the one positive of the evening. Spain are still top of their group. I'll be showing you the group later, but it's a minor positive to come away from that game. Honestly, it was a poor performance from Spain, and it was really, really sloppy. It really was in many areas. Lots of players were missing. Undoubtedly, we won't be playing a lineup, you could say, that week for sure, but it was still a pretty strong Spanish team. It should have been beating Ukraine. Yes, they were very difficult. The fans were there. It wasn't an ideal game. It really isn't, but you do need something else to win these fixtures. We didn't have it, so let's go and dissect this game. Let's start with the lineups then. Ukraine, as we know, were without 12 first-team players, and really, about 8 of them missing are usually starting lineup players. So Ukraine essentially are with their second team here, but honestly, they all came together. We knew what they were going to do. They put up a massive block. I predicted a 2-1 win. I didn't think it was going to be fireworks from Spain. It never really is in these sorts of games, when Ukraine are going to put that many men behind the ball, play that sort of game plan with the fans behind them in these circumstances. That's what's going to happen. So I knew it wasn't going to be an easy game, undoubtedly, but Ukraine, a lot of players missing, and Spain did nothing to combat it, really. Spain's lineup, I thought was good. I was quite happy with it. Busquets was rested, as we predicted. Olmo was brought out also. Gerard Moreno wasn't there. Of course, he's been sent back with an injury. No, neither was Diego Llorente, but, the defence was good. We brought Reguilon in, who I thought was really poor on the evening, unfortunately. Ferran Torres wasn't playing. Adama, I thought, had a good game. He was creating some danger. He actually went past players. He got balls into the box. He was making things happen, but up front, Rodrigo had a good first half. Spain weren't actually terrible in the first half, but honestly, second half and for large parts of the game, there was very, very little. So let's move on with some of that match action. Then let's start with the first half. Spain, as you'd expect, a lot of possession. A lot of possession. Throughout the game, we probably ended with about 80% or so by the time the full-time whistle had gone. We had a few good chances. Rodrigo had a good header save. Canales had a shot that went wide. We had a few corners, some good flick-ons from Rodrigo also. He was a bit of a menace in the box. And Fati had a really good chance. And, it wasn't amazing from Spain, but it was decent. Adama got past his players a few times. The first half was pretty slow. I wasn't very impressed. I was a little bit annoyed. You saw the footprints of this sort of result that it has ended in a 1-0 to Ukraine all over that first half. Very slow from Spain. Ukraine playing in their block. The fans gaining some momentum. Ukraine knowing they could wait for their chance, wait patiently. And it had that feel. It really did. This whole game had that feel. When you're not quick enough, when you don't want it enough, when you don't invent enough in these sorts of fixtures, that is going to happen. And I've seen it so many times with the national team. I really have. And it sounds, maybe ridiculous. Like, of course you have. It's just, honestly, it's absurd. How many times have we seen this happen right now? And for Spain, it's just disappointing. It really is, because this is such an important game. Next break, we've got Switzerland away. Can you see us winning that game? If I'm being honest, no. I think we're going to draw it. Germany at home. Can you see us winning that game? No, I think we're going to lose it. And that'll put us out of the Nations League. Or not out of it, but it won't put us in the finals. And our objective was to get to the finals, guys. We were on track. We were doing okay. But in today's fixture, there had to be that desire to go out and win that match. There had to be. Germany have dropped points again here. They don't look that convincing. They've got amazing players, but their defence is clearly leaky. They're clearly not in the best state of mind either. They've drawn to us. They've drawn to Ukraine. To Switzerland both times. Yes, they've beaten Ukraine by 2-1. They've only won one game, guys. Germany don't look that good either. We're still top of the group, and we've just played like that. So that's what I mean. We had to take advantage today, and we didn't. And the second half was poor. Ceballos came on. He grew into the game. He was very good eventually. One of our best players on the night, probably. But he started poorly. And Ukraine just gained momentum as the half went on. They kept on coming. They were getting in behind our defence. The fans were getting there. They were getting set pieces, corners. We were giving away sloppy free kicks. But I was mainly disappointed with the way that we didn't push on. We really didn't. It was probably only the 65th minute when things started changing. Oyarzabal had a good chance. Ramos was coming up from the back. Adama was getting a shot away. Ferran was getting in the box. Rodri hit the post. Ceballos was creating danger with Reguilon. We were getting a few better chances, but still, I didn't think there was no way near enough from Spain. And up to the 60th, 65th minute, we didn't actually do anything. It was all Ukraine, basically. Yes, we had possession, but nothing happened with it. So slow, so unimaginative, and just so awful. I can't vouch for performances like that. I really can't. It's just not good enough, and we've seen it so many times with the national team. It just reminded me of what we did last Nations League. We were in a good position in it. Teams around us were dropping points, as Germany are doing. But if we keep losing our matches, nothing's going to happen. Honestly, it just isn't. And Ukraine now, they're close to us, as are Germany, and even as are Switzerland. Switzerland, I know it's a good group. We've been over how tough it is to play these fixtures, but my God, Spain could have put themselves in a good position today. We really could have. We really could have gone clear of Germany here if we won this match, and even a draw would have been better. Now that we've seen Germany have drawn, we would have wanted a draw. But to not even get a point out of that game is really demoralising. It's awful, and it's just pretty goddamn sad. So if we move on to the future now, we've been over how awful that was from Spain, but I'm just looking around the team as to, can Spain really compete? And I think we can. I think we've got a good team. I think we've got a good coach. There's been some fresh new ideas, but maybe this international break, a few things have combined to us going a little bit backwards. There hasn't been that zest around the camp. There hasn't been that initiative in our play, that desire to go and win the ball back and be, one of the best national teams. For me, we've missed that. That's what I will say, and that will come with lineup for sure. I think the defence and goalkeeper are fine. There'll be question marks about De Gea. We haven't even spoken about the goal yet, which I'll get onto in maybe just a moment. But you know what happened. Ukraine have won. They've got a good ball in behind. Navas doesn't get there. Very open Spanish defence, as you'd expect. De Gea's way off his line. They curl it around him. People are going to get angry at the defence. They're going to be slating De Gea. I'm always usually the first to jump on his back for Spain when he is making blatant errors, but he's been good for us recently. And in all truth, I know he was way off his line and it's pretty poor positioning, but in a game of this sort of, the way it was working out, where Spain had 80% of the ball, it is important for the goalkeepers to be far off his line. And we saw that in the first half. De Gea was mopping things up, and that was actually useful for us for when Ukraine did break out. So this time he got caught out, they curled it around him, the fans went mental, Ukraine won 1-0, Spain didn't come back, and that was that. But just going back to that point of what we can do for the future, guys, honestly, I'd keep the defence similar. Left back, you can have a few options. You've got Jordi Alba, you've got Reguilon, you've got Gaia. Whoever's playing better, whoever's working better, put them in the left-back spot. At centre-back, I think Ramos and Pau Torres is the way to go. I really do. It's not ideal, but I think it's the best thing we've got. In goal, I'd stick with De Gea. No point pulling and changing that again. Let's keep De Gea for the tournament and for the future. And at right-back, Navas or Carvajal, similar to left-back, whoever's doing better is going to play. In midfield, Rodri or Busquets at the heart of it. For me, Busquets, but again, that can change depending on form and performance. In the other interior spots, for me, probably where we lack tonight, we had no Diago and no Fabian Ruiz, the two key players for Spain. Fabian especially, he can change a game with this sort of magnitude. He's got a great long shot on him. He can pick a pass. He can whip in the ball from deep. He's got good options on his left foot, Fabian. So we're missing him. And of course we're missing Diago. Of course we're missing our best player, 100%. So he'll be back in the future. Merino's someone I rate really highly also. And then you look further forward. What are Spain going to do about the striker position? What are we going to do in attack? Because I think on the wings, having Ansu Fati, having Adama, having Ferran, having Oyarzabal as another option is fine. And even Dani Olmo, I really do think that those are good options, and there's no need to drastically change things because we've lost to Ukraine. There isn't. We've got a good base here, we've got a good group of young players, and we've got a good coach. It was poor tonight, though, and things do need to be improved upon for sure. And I just think that we maybe need a number 9. Maybe. Yes, Oyarzabal can play there. Yes, Gerard Moreno and Rodrigo are quite dynamic. They're okay. But I think okay is the key word there. Are those two players going to help us actually win a tournament? Really? I don't think so. Is it worth bringing in a Morata, an Alcacer, even an Iago Aspas, a more proven Spanish goal scorer who can actually help us in these games? Because I'll tell you what, I know I would have liked if we had an Alcacer or a Morata on that pitch. I know I would have, and even an Iago Aspas to an extent, but I just think in this sort of game, Iago would have got swallowed up a little bit more. Morata or even Alcacer, more smart, more streetwise in that penalty area. They could have competed a lot more against the Ukrainian defence. That could be an option for Luis Enrique that he probably should put in his next squad. But like I say, I've gone through there. Not many changes for me personnel-wise need to be made, but for matches like this that we know we don't like, that we know we're going to be coming up against in the tournaments, there has to be more from Spain. We saw against Morocco, we saw against Iran, we saw against Russia. We've seen it against Sweden, we've seen it against Norway. When the opposition has a good level, when they put in the block, when they get the fans behind them, when they're well drilled, Spain have very little options. And that's not good enough. There has to be a solution. There has to be more from Spain. And I want to see that in the future weeks. That's absolutely for sure. In the next international break, my God, it's going to be hard. We're going to be here for all the games, with all the videos. But honestly, strap yourselves in because we've got Netherlands away. Are we going to win that game? Probably not. We've got Switzerland away. Like I said, are we going to win that game? Probably not. Germany at home, we're going to win that game? Probably going to lose it. So this is what I mean. It's going to be very tough. And if Spain win both of those games against Switzerland and Germany and prove themselves, that'll be a statement. Let's go and see if we can do that. It depends on the squad. It depends what sort of state of mind we're in. How's the fatigue looking? How are the fitness levels? All of that sort of stuff will play a part for sure. But anyway, I'll see you guys then. It's a sad evening tonight. We just look to the future now. Back to club football. Then we'll be back here in a month's time or so for some even more international fixtures. So the football simply doesn't stop. Poor from Spain tonight. We've got away with it considering Germany drew. And yeah, that's where I'm going to leave this one. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Leave all your thoughts down below. And goodbye.